Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. So today I like to share another one of my favorite recipes, well, personal favorite, and that is my banana carrot cream cheese bundt cake. And again, this has all the flavors and the taste that I truly love. And I really just cannot say enough about this. And before we begin baking, let's preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Or if you are using convection oven, you can reduce the temperature to 325. And for this recipe, what I like to use is I like to use very ripe bananas because they're extra sweet, and that means that I can then add less added sugar on the side. So we're going to take a fork and we're going to mash this banana out very fine. And you want it fine so that it's not lumpy when it's in the cake later on, right? And what I also like to do is I want to make sure that I don't have too much bananas. And so what you want to do is you want to have enough, roughly about 1 1/4 cup up to 1 2/3 of a cup mashed bananas. You don't want more than this because it will make the batter very wet. And now we're going to make the cream cheese sort of filling. Now with the cream cheese, you want it to be at room temperature. So as you can see, my cream cheese is a little tough because I just took it out about half an hour ago, and it's quite cold outside, so it's very hard. So then I'm going to just mix it gently with the rubber spatula, add my sugar, my 1 large egg, and we're going to also add in a little bit of vanilla because I love the flavor of vanilla in here. It just makes it taste extra delicious. And we're going to just quickly mix it together. And if you find that you need to change it over to a whisk, you can do that too. It makes it a little bit easier to combine all the ingredients together. And again, this recipe is very forgiving, so if the cream cheese is a little lumpy, not to worry, it will be okay. So we're going to mix it and we're going to put it aside to add to our cake batter later on. So now what I have is I have my pre-sifted all-purpose flour, and to this flour I will add in my baking soda, my baking powder, as well as my Himalayan salt. You can use any salt, but I like the Himalayan for a little bit of extra minerals. And in addition, I also have my ground cinnamon, my ground or grated nutmeg, and my ground ginger. And again, these flavors I truly really love. They're just extra tasty, and I love the flavor in this type of cake for the season. And we're going to kind of mix, and again, you don't have to mix it really well because like I said, the recipe is pretty forgiving. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start mixing our wet ingredients. So in a clean bowl, you're going to add in 1 large egg, and mine happens to be double yolk, but a single yolk will be fine. We're going to add in our yellow sugar and a little bit of vanilla. Now I like the yellow sugar because it has an extra caramelly flavor. And now we're going to add our non-flavor oil. You can use melted butter here, but I find the oil has just extra moisture to the cake. And now we're going to add in our mashed bananas, and we're going to mix it until it is well incorporated. And again, you want to make sure the sugar is fully dissolved and no longer lumpy. That will help incorporate the dried ingredients later on. So mix away. So now we're going to add in our dry ingredients. Again, you just want to mix this just until the dry ingredients is incorporated. You don't want to overmix this because it will make the cake tougher later on. So again, I just kind of mix it until the dry ingredients is just kind of mixed in, and even if it's a little lumpy, it's actually still okay. Now once it is mixed, then I can then add in the grated carrot. And again, with the carrot, what you want to do is you want to add in just about a cup of grated carrot, not more than this, because anything more than this will make the cake batter very soggy later on. So again, just mix it until it's combined, not over mix it, because again, it might make the cake very tough. So here I've got an 8-inch round, or you can use a square pan, and I've baked this cake in various different types of baking pan, but today I decided to use a 10-inch Bundt pan because it makes the cake a little bit more fancy looking. Now just before you add the batter, you can then grease the pan with oil. You can use a brush or you can use a can like what I've got here. Make sure you grease it really well, which will help the cake batter be released really easily later on. So we're going to be adding the cake batter to this, and again, you can do it in various different ways. You can add half of a batter and then add the entire cream cheese and top it up with the rest of the batter, or do like what I do here, which is add all the batter and then the cream cheese later on top. Now this is good for those that don't like cream cheese. They can easily remove it, and so that's why I did it this time. But like I said, it's probably nicer looking if you add the cheese batter in the middle, right? So anyhow, we're going to take the skewer and we're going to gently mix it together and just to kind of give it a swirl so that it looks like it's somewhat combined with the cake batter, and that the cream cheese won't be a big dollop on the top of the cake once it is baked. Now you're going to put it in the preheated oven and bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes. And again, how much time it takes will depend on your oven as well as the pan that you use. So adjust accordingly. While the cake is baking, what we're going to do is we're going to make the icing. So I like to use icing sugar and add a little bit of cream to it. And if you want, you can add milk to it as well, but I like the cream because it has a nicer flavor. And also add in a little bit of vanilla to it to give it a nice vanilla flavor to it. We're going to mix it together, set it aside, and add it later on. So at this point our cake is done. So just to make sure the cake is done, we're going to use a skewer and test it, and if the skewer comes out clean, we know the cake is done. And we're going to allow the cake to cool for about 10 minutes before we turn it over onto a serving platter. And again, you want to remove the cake while it is still somewhat hot, so it makes it a little bit easier. But again, you don't want to remove it and turn it over right away because the cake, it's too hot and it will break easily. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to drizzle this cake with a little bit of icing. Again, this is optional. You don't have to add icing, but it's kind of adds it sort of a little extra kind of vanilla flavor on the top, which I like. And this is actually one of the cakes that actually tastes better when it's warm, at least to my preference. I love eating this when it's nice and warm, and especially when the weather is cooler outside, right? It tastes extra delicious. And so anyway, we're going to cut a piece just to show you up close how it looks, and we're actually going to eat the cake and let you see how beautiful it is on the inside. And it's just, like I said, one of the most delicious things for me, and I enjoy eating this so much throughout the entire year, actually, not just fall. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you try the recipe out, and I hope you enjoy the recipe as well. So thank you again so much for watching this video. You have yourself a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.